Hey, and a good evening. Meteorologist Chris Smith here in the Panhandle Weather Studios in Inlet Beach. Meteorologist Dan Nyman joining us from across the bridge over into Panama City. How we doing today, buddy?
Hey, we're good. I'm just gonna be the god mic here and talk in silence for a second as figure things out on this side of town. But beautiful day outside today, of course, Chris, and getting really impressed with the warmth we're looking at as the week gets onwards. Maybe not at first, but by the time we get into next weekend, pretty toasty weather on the way.
Yeah, we're going to be looking at, I think not like 80, 81. We'll be looking at like 83 to 86 degrees for high temperatures. Now, that won't be at the coastline. The beach's water temperature, I think, jumped up to 65 today. So that's still going to be on the cooler side or have a cooling influence on the temperatures near the coast. But pretty much anyone north of the bays, I think, we'll see temperatures climb up into the 80s across northwest Florida. As Dan was saying, it was a gorgeous day today across our area. We had beautiful sunshine, just a few clouds across region as we looked out over across Panama City Beach. This is from atop the new Tootsies, looking Gulfward today. Then the Yoopers this evening, looking at a beautiful sunset just a little while ago. We appreciate them sending that in as it was just a picture-perfect Monday here across northwest Florida. And a good evening to, let's see, we have Jacob and Jerry and Tammy and Jessica. Let's see. And Penny, we appreciate you for tuning in. Austin, good evening. How are we doing? Let's see. Heard you all in Walmart off 23rd this morning. How cool was that? Grew up always hearing you first thing in the morning, telling us about the weather. Thank you, Chris. You made an impact here. Oh, Jacob, you're too kind. I'm trying to think. What would I have been doing? Oh, I wonder if they have the channel on like the TVs in the Walmart. Do you think?
Oh, I'll go do some reconnaissance tomorrow. I need a few final things to finish this up behind me anyway, so I'll figure that one out tomorrow.
Well, if they don't have us on, because I think Walmart, don't they sell Roku TVs?
Oh,
or
a
is
ton.
it?
Yeah.
Yes. So that's what I'm hoping. And if not, that's everyone's job. And if you don't do it, then Dan's just going to have to do it. To go to all the Walmarts and turn all the TVs to Panhandle weather. Dan will be logged in on accounts on countless TVs across the Panhandle.
I could hit Target, Walmart, and Best Buy in about maybe a gallon of gas. That seems like a great way to spend tomorrow.
Whether people like us or not, they're going to be forced to watch us. Oh goodness!
It sounds fantastic.
Yeah. So how was your day?
It was good on this side of town. A little more progress. I think the lighting's a little better now, and then the audio hopefully better for tomorrow as we continue to duplicate things Panhandle weather-wise on the eastern part of town over into Panama City. But it's looking pretty good. Result
Nice.
dialed in. I think by tomorrow we will be doing a live test run basically of Studio 2.
Yeah. There's no practice runs at Panhandle weather.
No.
We just jump in with both feet. Yeah, we had a good weekend. Charlie, we took the kids and saw some banana ball on Saturday. And then what else did we do? And yesterday was Top Golf for Charlie's birthday. Now, much to my curmudgeon self, like as I'm at Top Golf, I'm like, we went to the Bananas yesterday. How does this not count as like a birthday? Because his birthday's this coming weekend. But all of his friends play baseball, and so they all had tournaments or something. So somehow we had to celebrate it, and like they got 2 trips out of it, which he just walked into the studio. I'm trying to figure all that out, but nonetheless.
He hurt himself.
I know. It's 1973 Chris coming out here this evening. I apologize. Hey, Miss Hazel and Judy, good evening. Raven, good evening. We appreciate y'all. Let's talk a little bit about what's going on weather-wise across our area. As we look out over across our neck of the woods, it's been quiet. We had some fires that were visible on radar today. We posted about it, but they were all prescribed burns. The biggest one was over at Eglin. That one put on more than 4,000 acres that were being burned. Meanwhile, up into the mid-Atlantic, we're getting some snow up there near the Washington area. Otherwise, a little bit of a mix and rain just south of there, but nothing in the way of our neck of the woods. Things are all quiet here. Thunderstorms out into the Rocky Mountains. You can see up into Wyoming, some pretty good thunder boomers underway there in some of the lower elevations. This evening, as far as temperatures, 68 degrees over into St. Andrews. South wind at 9 miles an hour. As we look out over into Mariana, it's currently 73 degrees. Feels like temperature's still up close to 80. Northeast wind at 5 miles an hour. Look at that daylight fading away there. Looking gorgeous this evening. Temperatures dropping down into the 60s, 68 degrees in Panama City with an east wind at 4. You can see traffic's moving along A-OK. And you can definitely tell we're getting those minutes of daylight back across our region. Today we had yellow flags flying on the beaches. All in all, it was pretty nice. We got a lot of folks out dining this evening with our friends over there at Sharky's. So, Destin Harbor Walk Village tonight, looking nice, 65 degrees. Beautiful sunsets this evening. We're hitting the sweet spot here as those days get longer, and come Sunday, we'll be adding a whole hour of daylight. Temperatures right now, or temperatures today, 70s and 80s across the Panhandle. Right now we're looking at 60s and 70s as of this 6 o'clock hour. As we look at those winds have been very light today for the most part, but there is a little bit of a light southeasterly component continuing to bring in the moisture across northwest Florida. And you see an east to southeasterly flow across our area expected not only tonight, but into your Tuesday. And so you'll feel that uptick in the humidity over the next several days. Dew point temperatures temperatures rising from the 40s and 50s to the 50s and 60s across the area. Low temperatures tonight will drop into the 50s inland to near 60 on the coast. As you make your way over into the western part of the Panhandle, we'll let meteorologist Dan Nyman start chiming in here with the neighborhood forecast, which won't be quite as cool tonight.
Nope, we are certainly not looking at much of a cool factor as you wake up tomorrow morning. Mid-50s there in inland spots in the northwestern Panhandle, coastal locations holding on to the 60s there as you get down towards Gulf Breeze and Navarre. A very warm start with some moisture out there, although I do think that those winds Chris are mentioning should do a little bit to prevent us from seeing fog development from that. As you look across Bay County, mid-50s to near 60 in Panama City Beach, same to be said in through South Walton, about 54 for Calhoun County as you wake up early tomorrow morning. It's about 61 for St. George Island for low temperatures, 55 in Weewahitchka, and 55 as well up towards St. Mark's. Now, as you get up across I-10, not much of a cooling factor compared to the coast. Everybody's kind of soaking in some of these warming low temperatures, which will coincide with gradually warming high temperatures too. As you notice here, you get into Gadsden County, Jackson County, 54 to 55, even a few spots a little warmer than that. And we'll do the mid-50s as well through the central Panhandle too. This week, generally speaking, is going to continue to be quiet with a similar sort of feel to that. Now, at times, you'll see some low clouds, maybe as the week goes on, some fog towards the coast too through the morning hours, but ultimately, a non-impact weather forecast. You'll notice here we're struggling to see any of those clouds produce any sort of rainfall popping up. Fronts stay back to our north and west. Severe weather across the plains will be a big part of the story over the next several days, but you'll notice none of that really trying to make a drive in towards the Panhandle. Things continue to look extraordinarily quiet, and I think by the time we get to this weekend, maybe not extraordinarily warm, but we could be seeing near record warm temperatures, which is I think for many a welcome treat after what was a very cold winter here in the Panhandle. We now are, Chris, in meteorological spring, even if the lunar spring is still a couple of weeks away.
And speaking of lunar, we have a total lunar eclipse that's going to be visible tonight. And we got the deets on that for you coming up here in just a moment.
Even the mighty might not see it coming. It's prediabetes, and it captures 1 in 3 adults. But you can escape. Take the 1-minute prediabetes risk test to know where you stand and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. Be your own hero on smartphones everywhere at doihaveprediabetes.org.
When it comes to building, local experience matters. At Mid-South Lumber, our team knows the job, and we'll help you get it right the first time. From weekend DIY projects to full custom builds, you'll get solid materials, fair prices, and service you won't find at a big box store. That's why we're the biggest little lumber yard in Panama City. Mid-South Lumber. Shop local. Build with confidence. Let's quote your next project today.
Find something you love with great deals this month at Panama City Toyota. Get 1.99% APR on a new Camry, rated Best Midsize Car by Kelley Blue Book. Plus, 90 days until you make your first payment. Get 2.49% APR on the Rocket Tacoma. Plus, 90 days until your first payment. And get 2.49% APR on the powerful Tundra. Plus, 90 days until your first payment. Come check out our showroom or browse online at Panama City Toyota.
Your piece of land demands the very best equipment. Kubota equipment. The #1 selling compact tractor in the U.S. With professional grade mowers, versatile sidekick utility vehicles, and compact tractors that get it done right. All backed by unmatched dealer support. Talk to your dealer today to schedule a demo.
Now, from your trusted team of meteorologists at Panhandle Weather, this is your evening forecast update.
Well, I guess it's dropping back to me this evening, Chris. Good evening to everybody, as we have Tony here stopping by from Defuniak Springs, watching for a mention of the blood moon. As Gert also mentioning tree pollen on the rise. All the pollen's going to be a problem here if they're not already for you very soon. I know my black car was showing that already transitioning in. And Carol's mentioned that she's watched since day one, Chris, and appreciates the forecast every time she catches it. So seems like we're all in a very good mood Monday today. Maybe it is the spring fever that has kind of kicked off across the Panhandle.
Yeah, God bless you, Miss Carol. We appreciate you. Tonight is the lunar eclipse. Speaking of the blood moon, it is also going to be the lunar eclipse, as it is known as well, this evening. Basically what happens is that's when the sun shines on the earth, and that casts a shadow as the moon passes right through it. Now, it's going to be a very, very close call, and you're going to have to be flexible being able to see it low to the horizon, because it's not going to be very high up into the sky. It's going to be kind of really low to the horizon, and as a result, excuse me, that makes it pretty tricky. Now, if you're lucky enough to be out at the beaches, it'll be a piece of cake, because obviously the beaches are pretty flat. But anyway, this will be a total lunar eclipse. It will be brief, though, as far as the window. It begins 50% of the eclipse at 4:26, but what you're going to really notice is when it becomes total, from 5:04 until 6:03. Now, the moon sets at like 6:09 tomorrow morning. And there's a small window that you're going to be able to see this, because the last part of it, it's going to be dipping out over across the horizon. So again, from about, we'll say 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. is your best chance to see it. There will be a few clouds around. I can't rule out a little bit of fog, but I think for the most part, we should be okay, and you should be able to check this thing out tomorrow morning. Now, as far as the weather, again, we'll have the moisture streaming in. I wouldn't really worry too much about any persistent or complete cloud cover. I think you'll still be able to see it. Winds at that time will be blowing out of the east at about 5 to 10 miles an hour, and temperatures are going to be mainly into the mid to upper 50s across northwest Florida. So just a reminder, again, total lunar eclipse tomorrow morning from 5 o'clock until 6 o'clock. Now, talking about the rest of your forecast and all this beautiful weather, we go to meteorologist Dan Nyman.
Yep, not quite blood moon time yet, but we've still got a little color in the sky as things look fantastic out towards Destin. 65 degrees right now with a southeasterly breeze of about 7 miles per hour. Some spots you might have seen there pointing towards more of a northeasterly or easterly wind tonight in the eastern part of the area, but nonetheless, pretty comfortable, very mild start to the day on the way for tomorrow, as it's a packed house over towards Sharky's. Once again, we're getting into that time now in March, too, where the traffic is going to increase along with the temperatures. Live look across Panama City, just a pink hue on the horizon. Temps about 68 degrees. Our weather station here on the top of Ascension Sacred Heart Bay, showing about 68 with a dew point of 58. And as you take your step up towards Jackson County and Marietta, still showing 72 right there. I'm not sure if that is updated just yet, but warm nonetheless. As we look at coming up this weekend, talking about the warm temperatures and the improvements that we have in the forecast, as far as the long-range forecast too. Also some improvements as far as daylight goes towards the end of the days. We'll be springing forward here on March 8th, so be prepared for that, and be prepared for a little bit better camera views here on Panhandle Weather Live at 6 starting next Monday. We'll have daylight to show a little more often. Here's what's happening in your forecast for this week. Not a whole lot to write home about as far as impacts to your life, to be honest. We could see some morning fog in spots as we get later on this week. Otherwise, the story, passing clouds, warm temperatures, and they'll progressively get warmer and warmer as we get through the weekend. Not by much, but we'll add a degree or so here and there as we work through the week, and they'll get closer towards what would be record daily warm temperatures by this upcoming weekend. Your day planner for tonight, though, pretty comfortable. Temps slow to cool, so we'll only drop through the mid to upper 50s across the area. Winds light in nature, too, but they should crucially be a little bit high enough as far as wind speeds go to prevent widespread fog. Maybe low stratus clouds across the area, but that would probably be the worst of impacts from this. Winds tomorrow picking up to about 10, maybe 12 miles per hour as they see that move out of the easterly direction, and then light and variable as we get into Tuesday night, where we could start to introduce a little bit more fog to the forecast. Stay tuned for that. As we get in towards Wednesday, Thursday, you see more of an onshore wind developing here, still light in nature, so it's a bit of an ebb and flow as we get through the next several days. Low temperatures tomorrow, we broke this down kind of neighborhood by neighborhood earlier. We do mid-50s inland, about 60 at the beaches, and pretty comfortable for the kids heading off to school, but by the afternoon, maybe that light sweatshirt you've got on for the mid-50s in the morning, if your tolerance for temperatures is fairly low, that's coming off. 81 degrees for many spots north of the bays by tomorrow afternoon. In fact, high temperatures generally widespread up to around 80 degrees, perhaps a little cooler. We'll see, depending on how low clouds kind of stick around through southwest Georgia. So these might not ultimately materialize, but warm nonetheless. And then as you get down towards the coast, anywhere from 72 to 74, we still have some work to do for warming up the Gulf waters. It's a similar story for Wednesday morning as far as low temperatures go. We'll kick things off in the mid-50s with 60 around the coastline once again. As you go neighborhood by neighborhood, we drop down to about 56 in Bayou George, Ebro about 56 as well. Still doing about 63 degrees towards Cape San Blas, Alligator Point, 60 degrees as well. And then up towards Tallahassee, 58 degrees. As you move over towards Hosford, 56. Bluntstown starts off at 55. And Mariana, just a degree better. As across the central Panhandle, we're doing about the mid-50s again, so the warm weather, like mentioned, continues to stick around for us here, and in fact, gets warmer. Here's Wednesday, perhaps a touch more sunshine, but certainly a stronger ridge of high pressure, and you've got high temperatures as warm as 84, 85, maybe even here, Bluntstown, 86 degrees, and then mid to upper 70s towards the coastline. This continues to build in as we work through the next several days. Several troughs kind of dig through the plains, all amplifying the ridge of high pressure over us. So while weather stays active to the north and west of the region, we're protected underneath of this dome, which is going to bring us that warm weather. As you look across the Ohio River Valley right now, some passing showers within the upper level flow. Same story for tomorrow, but that moisture, snowfall potentially up through the Rockies, and then rain showers through the flat plains there over into eastern Colorado. This next weather pattern or weather maker shifting through the east will be the first of several opportunities for severe weather through the plains. Again, none of that expected to really be of significant impact for us, but with more on the forecast there and then expectations for what's getting into the weekend forecast here, we have meteorologist Chris Smith.
Well, thank you very much, Dan. Yeah, it is going to be very active for places out to our west and up to the north, and it's around that ridge of high pressure that will protect us that we're going to see all that active weather. But you can see heavy rainfall is going to be a part of the forecast. Up into parts of the Midwest, that ridge of high pressure, again, getting nudged to the east. Cool weather hanging on for dear life up into the mid-Atlantic and northeastern part of the United States. But what you're going to end up seeing will be a risk of severe weather, a parade of severe weather over the next several days. You'll see this tomorrow, a marginal risk stretching from Kansas and western Oklahoma and back over into the panhandle of Texas. Now on Wednesday, it's a risk of severe weather, southeastern Oklahoma into Texas, into the western parts of Arkansas. Meanwhile, severe weather. So you see severe weather, and then severe weather back to the west on Thursday. And then on Friday, we see it again extending up from Dallas through Oklahoma City and up into Kansas City. So, but the point being that all the severe weather continues to be kind of stuck in the same general vicinity even on Friday. So you notice almost every day this week there is going to be severe weather somewhere across the country, primarily out across the plain states, while for us, we stay high and dry. Look at these rain chances. Nothing to write home about. 10 to 20% chances of rainfall. Nothing that I would adjust my plans over when it comes to the upcoming weekend. Let's see, they got a chili cook-off on St. George Island. We got the Scottish Festival. We got the Boat and Lifestyle Show this weekend. So a lot going on, but you see here, we continue to just kind of see, you saw the showers and thunderstorms there, and then look at that. There it is, redeveloping as we head into Thursday, out into the western Texas Panhandle, and that extends up into Oklahoma on Friday. And you'll see the active weather just kind of stays there. Now, you saw a couple blips of green here, but that's more representative of that 10 to 20% chance of rainfall here. All the active weather should stay well north of us. maybe as we head into next week, we can start to introduce some rainfall chances. But look at this, the heavy rainfall, Ohio River Valley, out through parts of Arkansas, Texas, Oklahoma. You're looking at red on the map here, orange on the map. So we're talking about 4 to 5 inches of rainfall over the next 7 days. For us, as we head into the weekend, temperatures will be into the 80s with a mix of sun and clouds across our area. And again, very minimal rain chances are expected as a ridge of high pressure builds in. Now you'll see little bumps in the atmosphere here, and that's where these batches of showers and thunderstorms are. But as this trough digs, it forces up this ridge of high pressure, and so you get the teeter-totter effect, and that side's down, the other side's up. And so for us, that means warm and dry weather is expected across northwest Florida pretty much right on through the weekend and on into next week. You can see a little trough try and nudge its nose in here as we head into Monday. But again, nothing to get excited about. 70s and 80s. 80s inland, 70s at the coast expected over the next 7 days. 50s and 60s for low temperatures, so nothing unusual, but certainly it will be on the warm side, flirting with the mid-80s for high temperatures for inland areas, and a high likelihood on through the middle part of the month that we'll be looking at above average temperatures. Now, when we look at rainfall, as we head a little bit deeper on into the second week in the month of March, look at this, a little more green on the map, indicating a little bit more likely that it may be getting wetter. And so that's kind of what we hang our hats on now, is that while it may be getting warmer, we at least now, according to the Climate Prediction Center, have at least a decent chance of above average precipitation returning to our area. Good news, because we desperately need it, and things are beginning to green up, and I think the grass and yards and plants would certainly appreciate it. Here's that 7-day forecast. High temperatures are going to be into the 70s. Low temperatures are going to be into the 50s and 60s. And again, you look at those rain chances, and they're very, very slim over the next week. So not a lot of rain is in the forecast for the next week. But beyond that, we're hoping to be able to get there maybe by, let's see, that's the 7th, 8th, 9th, probably by about maybe the 9th or 10th, maybe some better rain chances.
Second. Now you can hear me.
There
Chris
you
could
go.
hear me the whole time.
Yes.
But I was just looking at interesting things about this forecast here for warm temperatures. This from the National Weather Service in Tallahassee, looking over the national blend of bottles, a 20 to 30% chance of high temperatures centered right around that Bluntstown up towards like Grand Ridge, Sneads. At least an outside chance of temperatures hitting 90. Unlikely, but it's crazy that we're even talking about that. We're just a couple of weeks removed. I want to say it was just 2 weeks ago, Chris, that we had temperatures in the 20s waking up on this, the Monday morning. That was 14 days ago. So things change quickly for us here. I'm also not 100% convinced that we're completely done with the cold, but it does look like maybe the last one is coming just towards the second half of the month.
Yeah, we're running out of time in a hurry. A lot of times the end of February is about it for us, so it wouldn't be completely unusual, at least for the beaches. Inland areas, it can linger a little bit into certainly the month of March. But this was Dr. Shane this evening sending in this picture of the full moon. He said it looked pretty normal, at least for now. And I was like, well, it'll be tomorrow morning when you wake up and head into the studio that it's going to look a whole lot different as it sets in the other side of the sky, the western side, which would be this way.
He's like, I thought it was going to be blood orange. What's going on?
Well, it's coming. We'll be there tomorrow morning. It should be a pretty cool sight. Let's see, 6 o'clock. I may set the alarm to get up a little bit early and go ahead and check it out.
Now that we have those cameras with the time-lapse recordings and whatnot, and
Yes.
they're elevated too, so they can see a little bit better on the low horizon, a lot less likely to set an alarm, because I feel like my eyeballs can't even see as well as the camera on top of the hospital, for example.
That's very true. We'll let technology take over for us, and then we'll have a full report tomorrow. And of course, you guys can submit your pictures in the Panhandle weather app.
It'll be a great sight nonetheless, especially for that early morning drive, and then a great feel outside tomorrow too. We're gonna have to make some plans to like go walk down to the beach or something.
Yes, it's going to be absolutely gorgeous. Really much of the week ahead. Everyone get out there and enjoy.